The Punch TV. Adolfo no mama makwa baba ye the Punch TV so make sure say any day the kind na dey hwe channel ya na che say obe subscribe dey ama ye no like no share we so abegya wadwenche e comment section ho enso e dey aka ye ho abusuafo say wa onim say the Punch TV dey ba na current stories ne political affairs bia yes the Punch TV dey dem ba kope abusuafo say amle america say story be flow so abebo for mama che say apai ama che say gentle ha obi a twene sere ne abasa abusuafo mma yenko hwe story ne mra ye ba ye de mu nchiremu nyina ebebrem.
But Dan, let Dan answer some specific questions. Yeah. Dan, why is it that you have your athletes using aluminium bikes?
No, you know, I find it very difficult to understand the dynamics of this whole conversation when it comes to equipment. Just this evening, we had a press conference. 8 federation heads were present. And the minister said that they gave the specifications to the ministry to purchase the equipment. And none of them refuted that statement.
And the access to buy aluminium bikes?
That I can't tell. What I'm saying is that the minister stated categorically that all the specifications were from the federation. And none of the 8 federation heads denied that.
Yeah, but you've heard the athletes, right?
No, what I'm saying is that if you analyze what the minister said, it means that if we got it wrong, it did not come from the ministry.
But what are those? Yeah, but others who are competing in cycling had fiber bikes.
Evans, I am the sports minister. You are the head of Ghana Cycling Federation. And I've given you the opportunity.
So the Cycling Federation advises us to buy aluminium.
Specifications required for your athletes.
So the aluminium bikes are new bikes. We spend money on them.
I have not seen it. But what I'm saying, I am making reference to what the minister said.
Let's clarify.
And that none of the federation heads denied it.
Then help us clarify.
All the 8 federation heads at the press conference this evening were rather lauding government and the minister for procuring those equipment for
really?
Oh yes.
Help us clarify.
Basketball, for instance, admitted that the ministry spent $500,000. Listen, basketball admitted that the ministry spent $500,000 to procure equipment for them, and they were praising the minister. So I'm surprised when it comes to this conversation, because I ask you to give me specifications. I'm not an expert. So if the equipment come and they are not fit for purpose, who do you blame?
Dan, we cannot accept this explanation because the minister has a greater duty of care in the expenditure of taxpayers' money. You cannot, not after what happened in Australia 2018, that you do not know the appropriate cycling equipment.
We knew as of 2018 that you said that we need fiber bikes.
So tell me,
and aluminium bikes were wrong.
Number two. So you answer the question. Number 2.
No, tell me where the minister went wrong.
Dan, I'm asking.
If the recommendations came from the
Dan. Number 2. The second question for me is this. If indeed the ministry procured bikes, why is it that Michael Naba is using his personal bicycles?
What I'm saying is...
Where are the bicycles the ministry procured?
What I'm saying is a quotation by the minister at a press conference less than an hour ago.
The minister has the bikes.
Listen. The LOC is not directly responsible for Team Ghana preparation. That is one thing that a lot of journalists are losing sight of. Our core duties is to organize the games. We are not responsible for Team Ghana preparations. Over the years, Ghana has had international games.
So the federation failed. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's what I'm saying. Okay. He is asking the sort of bicycles that were procured. But what I'm saying is that we are not directly involved when it comes to those equipment acquisition. But I'm only making reference to the statement made by the minister, which was not refuted.
Yeah, but you haven't. But you haven't. Why haven't I answered the fundamental question? I'll bring Gary and Cohen.
Let me rephrase. I don't know why you don't want to understand me. Evans, you are the head of Ghana amateur boxing. So I am the minister.
So you are the spending.
I'm the spending officer.
Yes.
I give you the opportunity that Evans, give me specification that will suit your boxing.
But there's evidence.
If tomorrow you turn around to accuse me that I purchased wrong gloves for your boxers, who do you blame?
Okay, hold on. Gary. Hello, Gary.
Yes, I'm here, Evans.
Yeah, Gary, I know you wanted to make an intervention.
What's there to say except what Achu has said, that Evans, there's a duty of care. And you see, if I'm the head of my family, my son or daughter or my children say, we are going to school, we need these books. And I say, take this money and get these books to study. And they bring it back. They don't do well in the exam. And then they say, oh, these are not the books. The class teacher is going to blame them as much as the class teacher will blame me because of the simple phrase, duty of care. Because if I am the sports minister, I don't know about Honorable Mustafa Yusuf. If I am the sports minister and I have procured, as Dan says, I wasn't at the press conference this evening, we sent a reporter, 500,000 United States dollars, Evans, and they say, let's buy X, Y, and Z equipment. And I don't double check as the sports minister to ensure that what they need is what they want, then there's a problem. I'll also say very briefly that you see, the last games were in Morocco. I don't even want to waste too much time, so I'm just saying everything briefly. The last games were in Morocco. The same argument, you see, what we say something about multimedia. You inspect, what did you say? You expect what you inspect, or something like that, right?
Yeah. Well,
Expect what you expect.
People do what you inspect, not what you expect.
Thank you. It's really as simple as that. Because if I am spending, I've not seen the numbers, but Dan, thank you very much for giving that. We are going to use that copiously in the news. 500,000 United States dollars to the basketball team. And I, the sports ministry, don't have a plan B to check that what they are saying, A, is true, even if it's true, that it meets current international standards as a fallback option, then there's a problem. And that's all I'll say. You see, everything we are saying here, and Dan's job is very difficult. That's why in all my critique, I have quietly absolved Dan because he literally is the mouthpiece. Yeah. He's in an incredibly difficult position. Dan is not a politician. Dan is not a technical person. He's not an LOC official. All he has to do is to say and disseminate what he has been given. Now, our job is to know things. And this is what we know, Evans. One, in this country, Ghana, we have more than enough capable people. Because you know what? We have the men and women who today, some are going to the Olympics in a couple months, and they will be in charge of some of the things that we are not letting them do here in Ghana.
Exactly.
And that's what Jerome said. Evans, let me repeat this. For all the 30 disciplines, every single one of them, the country Ghana right now, we have world-class. I need to emphasize to people watching this show, we have world-class administrators who are able and competent, tried and tested, who would have averted this fiasco, even if we put them in charge as late as last November. That's job is difficult, Charlie, so he can't talk. So Dan, you leave it for us to talk. Dan, leave it for us to talk. Look, Evan, I said we have world-class people. World-class people. If any country is hosting an African Games next year, they cannot do it without Ghanaians because we have some of the best people. The question that we will be asking after the games is, we have Evans Mensah. Why is he not doing this job and Gary Al Smith is doing this job? Because Evans Mensah has a track record. He has been here, he has been here, he has been here, he has been here. There are people who went to the World Cup in Qatar, Ghanaians. Now, guess what? Qatar invested millions of dollars. You know, the World Cup has how many countries? 32 teams, right?
Yeah.
Qatar invited the heads of security of all 32 countries, among other things. That remind me, it was the heads of security, caterers, and some other professionals, and give them free training, paid for their flights and everything, Evans. When was the World Cup? This is in 2022, December. But you will find that all these specialists are not part of the Africa Games because I don't know.
Okay.
So that job is difficult, and we have shot ourselves in the foot. Why? I don't know.
Well, I mean, Dan, a few other questions that have come up.
I want to make a point.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
You know, Dan said the World Athletics Championship is a single event or something. I don't think it's exactly the case. but we can even put that aside. I mean, Dan is in a very tight situation, like Gary was saying. You see, the point has to be made that all that is happening is because you need to have a system that is committed to developing sports on the basis of a set plan. And we know how the Moroccans are doing it. Gary has been in and out of Morocco. He can tell you how they have been committed to developing infrastructure in a way that excites everybody on the continent. And they don't spend as much as we have spent. So how is that possible? Look, Dan was talking about the LOC not being in charge of the Ghana team. That is true. Let's go to some critical aspects of the LOC's work. And I have said that I don't believe the LOC is in charge. On Saturday, when I went to the UG Stadium, the media center at the stadium was being fit. I mean, that was then that I saw people fixing tables for the media. I don't know any competition that open ceremony is done 24 hours later. You have people coming in to set up the place for the media. I have never seen one at any competition I have attended. So I'm saying that we have sidelined the expertise of certain people, and that's the point Gary just made. We know those who can do this job. We just didn't trust them enough to give them the millions of dollars that we say we have expended to execute this tax for us. And it's the same thing we do with football.
Yeah. And I don't want to get you started on football, because once I get you started on football, you're not stopping. But Dan, so bottom line, but I'm also curious, this ambulance that had no fuel, what happened? Have you investigated it? This was yesterday, I believe. Was it yesterday? Yesterday.
Oh, Ghana. The LOC has created a pool of buses. And once you are engaged as a private service provider, the head of transport has to align you to a pool of buses. What happened was that the ambulance service started working with the LOC with their cars already fueled. So I think there was miscommunication. But what happens is that once you engage their services and they come with their cars already fueled, as and when it is getting finished, you have to be informed that, okay, we came with 4 tanks at a cost of 1 cedi. It is now finished, so we need refueling. Unfortunately, there was a communication gap. So that affected the commencement of the cycling. That's the only explanation.
But somebody knew the game was about to start. The guy who's driving the ambulance knew the fuel was in the car was non-existent. And you're waiting for it to start before you start running around to find.
Well, it is a service you have outsourced, so you don't have direct control.
Okay. So what's going to happen? Because if there are no consequences, this will might continue.
Well, Evans, it will be difficult to punish somebody you have outsourced to help your cause. Okay. If the ambulance services were within the remit of the LOC, if they were an agency under the LOC, then we can say that you did your job wrongly. So
and then the late arrival of the equipment for some of the athletes, well, why?
The late arrival, honestly, I have no answers to that. Because all I was told by the minister, that's what I'm saying, that the LOC is not responsible for some of the issues we are raising here. That's why I am very careful quoting the minister for some of the issues.
The ones that you can clarify, the badminton equipment, were they the ones that arrived in the country late, or they were the ones that got stuck at the ports?
These are all issues that has got to do with TVghana preparation.
That you don't have answers to.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about something before we wrap up. Bottom line, you want people to go there. Publicity has been an issue. I have been looking for tickets to go and watch swimming with my son. And I struggled. I'm a journalist. I mean, and I've struggled, right? I went to the website, the ticketing wasn't working, the text message. So tell me, people want to go.
Yeah.
How do they get tickets?
Honestly, if I were in charge, I wouldn't have charged at the gate.
Okay.
And of course, you cannot wash your dirty linen in public. But from the benefit of hindsight, if the Black Stars are playing in an empty stadium, how could you feel a Black Satellites game at the same stadium or in a stadium that has a capacity of 40,000 plus? So if I were in charge, I wouldn't go for ticket sales. What I would have done was rather to get people, bus people for the optics to come and fill the stands for us.
But you're not in charge.
But I'm not in charge.
What it is what it is. So tell us, how do you go to the games?
On the day of the opening, for instance, I do not know whether somebody was trying to hack into our system or it was a sabotage. I don't know.
It went down.
It was 2 hours to kickstart the program. Everybody who accessed the platform had a notification that it was a sold-out event. Meanwhile, the stadium was not full. So I was wondering. In fact, I had a screenshot of people. People showed me screenshots that I was trying to buy a ticket with my family to come to the stadium, but the platform.
But this has happened before.
Okay, we need to wrap up. So people need to go. Just wrap up for me. So how do you get tickets now?
I spoke to the ticketing team. What they are saying now is that, with the exception of the VIP, the rest they are not going to sell. The rest is going to go for free.
From when?
From tomorrow.
So I can just walk and go and watch. Okay.
If only, but you are a VVIP, so you can just. You have to buy a ticket.
I have to buy a ticket. Okay. I mean, no problem. I will. I mean, of course. So from tomorrow, if you're watching right now, you can just go and watch the games without paying. Yes. Both at the Baltimore.
Go and sit at the VVIP.
Okay, both at Baltimore and also at the
Legon.
And the Legon. Okay. That's good information. Everybody can go now and watch. And let's help them drum that information, because we need people to go.
We will. Our stars are in town.
Okay.
Azamati, Joe, Paul, and
for athletics. For athletics, okay.
Yes. But that starts, I think, on Monday.
Next week?
Yeah, Monday.
Okay. What is happening on the weekend? Because weekend is when we can also join the park.
So the games will continue. Tomorrow, for example, the 100-meter.
I mean, tomorrow we are all working, so it's very difficult to go out. I'll check. By the way, Dan, thank you very much. They say your job is very difficult.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. But you have to give us one line before you go. Which one have you picked in your work so far? Just one.
So the way you are boxing me to a corner, I am confused because the job is difficult.
Drop one. Just one.
Oh, it reminds me of gentleman Biana Oko Tina Trotro. Okoshi girl bina or the boss will never find. The next day, an afraid girl is say, I mean, we say a PO won't get to phone. I mean, we say a PO. And the lady say, but you, who the car barber for me? I am funny, she I now send me the car.
The Trotro vampire. Enjoy the rest of your evening. That's Dan Kwekuyubwa, the man with a difficult task. He says on tomorrow you can go and watch it for free. So please make your way there. Let's make this one. At least find a way of salvaging it. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
abusuafo story no na yakɔhwɛ de aba no na kyerɛ sɛ nsɛm kɔ so Ghana ha nsɛm kɔ so krom ha kyerɛ sɛ de hia sɛ obenya wo data na obɛba ntentan no so abusuafo kyerɛ sɛ wobetumi asere a wobetumi adwa wani betumi agya na kyerɛ sɛ social media no so de so bia etimi eba so sɛ de nkɔfoɔ ka sɛ digital no nyen blaso na eso enche me a me di dwumadi ho chia me frɛ me nana agyeman wo mi so na frɛ me NY ja meje so na mama peace out
yama owi akwa baba Mansa Media College ayi school power ya che TV so ene radio so dwumadie ya so ye ewo Kumase atonsu baby a wo bia o pese ba Mansa Media College na be hu dwumadie yedi ni hono a yentie dwumadia yedi no Mansa Media College
se usua bribi wo media mu ana opese ohunu bibi biara e fa media ho enso eche kra
Amansan Media College e ho mam
ye wa achechefo a wa kwadiri yie wa de twemu na in studio ni ye newsroom de edi twam wonsam twemu no ye kire bibi ti se kasebo akenkan ni sinitwa ni bebura ekeka ho wa multimedia mu nso ye kire bibi ti se sini mfoni asiesie mfoni nitwa ni bebura ekeka ho ye betumi nso aboa ama wo de na otwepe asunya biribi wo nkitahodie adwuma ahodo nyinaa mu esan se ye wo yankasa foni nti abri biara ye ma ya adesuafo kwan ma okọ yode ya kire won adesua dan mu no
ahwefo ehu ekame ese obi biara a wo le bosomtwe ase enim abakosema efa nsuo ihu menya abofra kitua bi wa ha ono so se onim abakosema efa le bosomtwe ho
abusuafo ye mama kwaba eba Ghana Pages TV so emra so se the trending issues near koso ewo abe for time fidie ni so ebe somo midin na eje wa akode
Amansan Media College e ma o de we hia bia wo nkutahodie mu